Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. Today is day 17 of the 30 days of 30-minute workouts, and we hit the top max workout today, okay? So this is about full intensity for this workout. So how are we going to do our 30 minutes? Well, we're going to break it into three big chunks. We're going to do 15 minutes, 10 minutes and 5 minutes. Now, I still recommend setting your splits to 5 minutes long, especially if you're loading in from Ergzone, because that way it'll just keep it as that 30-minute row that you're going to be able to rank at the end of it. Because the pace you're doing this at, there's a good chance you could get up there towards your 30 minutes kind of best of season or something. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do the first 15 minutes at 20 strokes a minute, 2k plus 18 pace. Nice, easy, gentle roll into this one. Then we're going to move into the next 10 minutes at 24 strokes a minute and round about 2k plus 12. So a good chunk faster as you rise up to that 24 strokes a minute. And then we're going to finish off the last 5 minutes at 28 strokes a minute and run about 2k plus 5 or faster if you can. Okay, so that last 5 minutes is really going to be what's going to take us up there into this kind of max top tier intensity workout. Okay, so it is going to be a game of kind of three halves, if you get what I mean. That we're going to start off gentle and kind of gradually build into it. But trust me, by the time you get to the end, it is going to be intense. So please don't push that first 15 minutes, okay? I'll talk to you more about the point behind all this as we get into the row, but we might as well just get into our 4-minute warm-up. Now, as always, we go straight to the front of the machine and set our drag factor, using the lever on the side of the machine. And then you go to menu display option, or menu more options, display drag factor, sorry. And set it where you want it to be. Now mine, I set around about 120, 125. I'm still a little bit low because these intercostals, but usually around about 120, 125. If you're not in a Concept 2, don't worry, just set the resistance whatever you have so you get a good weight from the stroke, but you don't have to heave your back against it and kind of ruin your technique because it's so heavy at the front for what you're using, okay? Next up, go to your monitor, and if you're able to, try and set it at eye height so you're not having to look up and you don't have to look down, both of which will kind of play havoc with your posture. And finally, if you're able to set the foot stretcher height, set it to a point that you can get to the front of the machine comfortably with your shins pointing vertically. If they're set too high, you might not be able to get there. Set too low, you might go shooting straight past, and that can cause power leaks, hyperextension of the lower back and stuff. Okay, so our 4-minute warm-up, we're going to do this at 18 strokes per minute. And your pace to start, really all I want you to do is put in enough of a push from your feet that you can think about the connection from your feet to your hands, and then you can speed up to around about 2k plus 20 pace, okay? Right, let's get into this then. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, the power for the stroke, I know you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to talk you through it again. The power for the stroke starts with a push from your feet or from your legs, but you have to get that into the handle somehow, and that is by being in the right position with your body, but also getting the timing right of that foot press and your hands and the handle picking up the flywheel or the water wheel or the magnet, whatever you use on your machine. So you really want to think about pushing at the same time that the handle connects. If you push too soon, you lose a lot of power as your backside scoots away from underneath you. And if you pull too soon, then it's harder to get that leg drive in there and you're, again, leaking power. So try and get that snap of the feet and feel the machine turning as you push with your legs. And as you're practicing this, start to increase your pace to run about 2k plus 20. And if you don't know what I mean by 2k pace, then row a 2-kilometer time trial and divide the resulting time by 4. And that's your 2k pace, your average time to cover 500 meters across your 2k time trial. So when I say 2k plus 20, you go 20 seconds slower than that. One more stroke. Put one foot on the floor. And don't worry, I know I absolutely raced through that description about 2K training pace today. So if you're unsure about it, check out the description to this video. And it's about halfway down that description. Bit fuller way to say what 2K training pace is. Okay, one more stroke with this foot. Change feet. And the whole point of doing these single leg drills is to really think about that push from your legs. And it also helps with your body position. That forward lean into the front of the machine, tilting over your hips, and then the backward lean into a backward position, funnily, by swinging over your hips again. Both feet in, legs straight, and then you can really practice that swing by swinging over your hips, then pulling in your arms, and then push out your arms, swing back over your hips again. This is great to really think about that hinging, tilting forwards and backwards like a pendulum almost over your hips. Okay, one more here. Then let's roll to the front of the machine with straight arms, forward lean, and just press out with your feet, not too powerfully, because I want you to hold that forward lean and straight arms as you drive, so you're not really recoiling off it. And this way you can practice that connection between your feet and your hands too. You get two more? Should do. Okay, one more. Right, so although today's session is a top max intensity session, because we're starting off with that 15 minutes at 2K plus 18 pace at 20 strokes a minute, that's going to warm you up quite nicely. So you shouldn't really need to continue to warm up if you don't want to. However, if you want to carry on just doing some light rowing while I recap what it is we're doing today, then by all means do. But still keep moving a little bit up and down the rail just to keep your muscles moving a little bit. I'm going to have a quick drink, which I advise you do too. Kept that water bottle in here all night after my bike ride yesterday. It's freezing cold, it's lovely. Anyway, right. Today's row then, what we're doing is we're going to do 15 minutes at 20 strokes a minute and at 2K plus 18 pace. Then we're going to go into 10 minutes, like instantly, no rest. 10 minutes at 24 strokes a minute and 2K plus 12 pace. And then we're going to go into 5 minutes at 28 strokes a minute and at 2K plus 5 or better pace, okay? And that should really put this into a top max effort workout, okay? So that's it really. There's nothing really kind of else to say about it. It's a very simple session. I've done it again. I'm not loaded it up. I've been too busy talking to you. But it will work you hard. So be prepared for the fact that that intensity is going to creep up. It shouldn't be one that you're unable to complete, but that last 5 minutes is going to really put the intensity up there for you. So I'm going to have another quick last drink. I could just sit here and drink lovely cold Scottish water all day instead of rowing. But hey, let's get into this then. So, 20 strokes a minute, 2K plus 18 for the first 15 minutes. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, for stroke rate, either watch me on the video, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can listen to the whoosh of my flywheel. And you can match that at first if you struggle to hit rates. But hopefully, after a minute or so, you'll just fall into the rhythm of your stroke rate and not really need that outside source anymore. So, be interesting to see what happens on my row today, as being yesterday evening I had the last of the races for the Zwift Racing League, and it was 80 minutes worth of really quite hard racing. So although this first 15 minutes and hopefully the 10 minutes to follow shouldn't be too bad, I'm a little bit worried about that last 5 minutes. And this is why I'm so keen on trying to put across to you the importance of really keeping an eye on energy levels and making sure to kind of undulate between bottom tier and mid and then bottom and top, so you don't end up ragged, which I do wonder whether I'll be today, but as it is, I'm around about a second off my average pace right now for the 20, so I better beef up my ideas. Oh, forgot my watch again. Right, so yesterday I went quite in depth across technique. Pretty much took the whole half-hour session to go through from start to finish. But today I want to try and just give you the headlines, and then we can focus on kind of making sure that we're keeping the intensity right, and then think about technique as a way to keep the effort up rather than it being a training tool. So if I can try and speed up my description of the stroke, that might happen. So the most important thing to remember is that you generate power at the front of the stroke from your legs. Okay, so you push your legs into the machine. Think about pushing it away from you. Try not to think about the rowing stroke being a pulling motion, okay? Yes, you do at the back of the stroke, but not at the front. At the front, you push your feet into the machine, and then because you have a forward tilt over your hips and straight arms, you hang off the handle, much like if you were just hanging off a pull-up bar with your feet off the ground. That idea of just hanging off it, and that's how the power gets from your legs into the machine uninterrupted. So you push with the feet, and then You hold that forward lean and straight arms until your legs are about halfway through the leg drive. And that's when you finally swing over your back from that forward lean into a backward lean. And that swing adds power into the stroke, which is why you don't want to do it too soon, and certainly not before your legs connect. And then once you have started that backswing, that is when you finally engage the arms and pull them in to a finish. So it's simple really. Forward lean with arms straight, and then you just go legs, body, arms. Legs, body, arms. But then you just reverse that stroke in order to return to the front of the machine again. Arms, body, legs. Arms, body, legs. So you finish the stroke by pulling in your arms, and then you instantly, at the same pace you brought them in at, send them straight back out at. Again, sorry. So, in, out. In, out. And you let your arms moving away be the momentum that triggers that forwards tilt back over your hips again, so that by the time your hands are past your knees, your arms are straight and you're in that forwards tilt, ready to start, or ready in the right position for the next stroke. And because your momentum is moving you forwards, all you have to do is bend your knees and you will effortlessly slide towards the front of the machine. So it's about momentum, the recovery, and it starts with your arms away. Arms, body, knees. Arms, body, knees. 10 minutes done. 5 more minutes at this rate and pace, and then we'll increase 4 strokes per minute, but run about 6 seconds pace. And really, when it comes to increasing your pace and rate, it's about the leg drive, pushing harder with your legs to not only put in more power to the machine, but also a faster drive speed. And if you can think about rowing with a 2-to-1 ratio, and that means that your drive speed is twice as fast as your recovery. Then what happens is that when your drive speed increases, because you still want to row at a 2-to-1 ratio, your recovery will increase too. So driving out from the front increases your drive speed, and then making sure you mirror your arms in and your arms away and get them past your knees, body tilted forwards. That should help you to have a faster recovery phase as well. And if you do get unstuck with a higher stroke rate, then often it's the recovery phase which is letting you down. So do try to think about arms away and that rock over your hips. But it could also be a mixture of posture, and maybe you are tugging your feet on the foot straps to pull yourself forwards instead of using free flowing momentum to get you there. Because if you tug on the foot straps, everything collapses and you have to do this weird thing to get you, I'm pooped after that, to get you to the front of the machine again. So not only are you in the wrong posture to start, but that process of trying to get into the right forward lean at the front not only is quite tiring, as I just found out, but it costs you the rhythm and the time you need to get to the front of the machine quickly. Speaking of which, 3 strokes to go. One more, and let's increase it to 24. So, more of a push from your legs, but you will likely feel that sudden step up in intensity as you increase the power and your leg drive speed. Now, for me, 24 at 2k plus 12 feels really natural. The handle feels as though it's just floating through the air as I start the stroke, and the rhythm of drive and recover just feels so fluid. Not everyone feels the same way, but I think most people do have a stroke that they feel most comfortable at. Oh, I can feel my quads starting to burn a little bit. Basically where the soreness from last night's cycle has been sitting in them all day. And yesterday I was talking about the idea of mixing up training, whether cycling will help your rowing, or rowing would help your cycling. And truth be told, I hadn't been on the bike for 2 weeks before last night's race, and I was a little bit worried that I would blow up really quickly. But because of this 30 days of 30s rowing, my fitness hadn't suffered at all. My power output was maybe a little under par, but all I had to do was go up a gear and increase my pedals, my RPM, and use fitness instead of power. So certainly the rowing helped the cycling, and I think the embracing the hardship that I had to do, especially over 80 minutes worth of a race, will have helped my mental fortitude when it comes to rowing. Whew. So make sure to carry on pushing with those legs. I know it's easy when you start to chase the pace to fall into thinking that this is about pulling harder on the handle, but it's not. When you push harder with your legs, if you have that forward lean and arms straight, all that happens is your hang off the handle becomes more forceful. kind of like if you were hanging from a pull-up bar. Be like doing that with extra weights added to you, increasing the tension on the bar. And that's what's happening here with that increased push. And then, because the tension has increased on the handle, when you eventually do come in to pull, compared to the 20 strokes a minute, you are finishing stronger. All right, 2.5 to go on these 24s. And do remember that when you pull the handle in, you want it to be powerful. Finish around sternum height. Keep your shoulders loose throughout the entire stroke. So handle to sternum height, elbows through your sides. A little flare outwards is okay, but unless you are an on the water rower who has been taught to finish with your elbows in line with your trunk like this when you come out. If you've been taught to do that, continue. But if you are new or just all about the rowing machine, then try to send your elbows through your sides, wrists flat, and that's where that slight elbow flare may come into play. Okay, 5 strokes to go. 2, 1, increase to 28, and around 2k plus 5 or faster. This will be very much a raised intensity finish. So try to keep your stroke rate and technique nice and smooth so that you don't tire artificially. Oh. So I'm languishing around about 2k plus 7. Part of that is fatigue, but once I get into these high rates, I'm sorry to say that talking to you starts to take its toll. I'd rather carry on talking than worry about my own pace. But that's not to say that you have carte blanche to slow down. I want you to really try to hold your pace. 2.5 to go. Remember how quick the 24s went at 2.5. Well, this one will go just as quick. 2 minutes, 56 strokes. Come on. Keep that rocking of your back over your hips. Nice, powerful posture at both ends of the stroke. A minute and a half. Come on. Push with the legs. Finish with the arms. A minute to go. Come on. Can you squeeze any more power from your legs? I'm trying for my 2k plus 5. Oh. 30 seconds. Keep that posture. Do not collapse in the search for more length. Trust your technique. Last 5 strokes, come on. 2 more. 1 more. Oh. Well, let's take a moment. Oh. Don't worry. Normal service will resume. Whew. That was tough. That's a magnificent workout. Even if I don't do say so myself. So I ended up at 2k plus 1. So although I backed off to 2k plus 7 for most of that last 5 minutes, from that 1 minute to go I gradually increased to 2k pace and then faster, which, in fact, this is what I meant to say in the main row. Today's row is almost like a little baby 10k or something, where it's about holding a tempo pace and then steadily increasing it towards the finish. It's kind of what today was like. So it starts off in that kind of, you're working but it's comfortable. Then it ends up in this state. Right. I should have given you enough time to gather your wits about you. Make sure you have a quick drink, because we're about to go into a 2-minute cooldown, which pace-wise, if you can get up to around about 2k plus 20 to start, maybe do about 30 seconds of that and then slider into neutral for the finish over the next minute and a half, okay? So 18 strokes a minute for me in 3, 2, 1, go. Now in order to hit 2k plus 5 at this, 20, it's because I'm aiming for 205 on the monitor, that's why. You're still going to have to put in a solid leg drive, and that's going to help to flush out those muscles after what was an intense row. Okay, now either continue at this pace for the next 30 seconds or so, or if you want, you can start easing off. However, I want to make sure that when you ease off, you still maintain the principles of the good rowing stroke. So good posture at the front, tilting in, and arms straight, and then only swing your back when you're halfway through the stroke, or the leg drive, sorry, and then pull in your arms. And instantly let them bounce right back out again, which engages that forward tilt, and with momentum shifted forwards, you don't need to tug the foot straps to get to the front of the machine. You just have to bend your knees. Right, I'm down at 2k plus 30 for these last couple of strokes. And my heart rate is still elevated, up at like 70% of max. But if you want to continue to cool down, if you're in a similar state as me, then use that to help your, go slower and slower to help your heart rate fall. Whereas I'm just going to let mine gradually fall as I talk to you. So either continue to cool down or climb off the machine and do some stretching. I recommend hamstrings, quads, maybe hip flexors, shoulders, arms, maybe forearms if you are a puller, and then some supine twists for your back. I will make a video, I keep promising, but I need to get, I've got a whole to-do list of videos that I need to make that I keep promising to make for you folks, and stretching is one of them. And as being even the form check Fridays that I've started to do, that's exploded my workload, so I can't really fit in anything else, I'm afraid, because I'm doing one of these every single day. I do worry that some people see these sessions and think that if they're not part of the 30 days kind of thing, that they didn't start at day 1, that, oh, there's no point coming in and starting at day 17. And it's not like about starting. These are fantastic standalone sessions that you could fit in anywhere. And I constantly hit this issue where I think, well, I'm doing all these sessions for like the 10K plan or whatever, but each one of these is a fantastic standalone workout, much like the 30 days of 30. And I do worry that I'm putting people off, that they're not doing them as a standalone because they think they have to be part of the plan. But then at the same time, I don't want to just throw these up as random individual workouts, because then people start to say, when are you going to do another plan? So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So unless I upload the same video twice with a different thumbnail each time, one just kind of saying, 15, 10, 5, standalone. And people go, ooh. And then when I start talking about 30 days of 30, they go, oh. But yeah, anyway. This is just one of the internal thoughts I have when it comes to this stuff. Answers on a postcard if you have a solution to this, because I do wonder whether, like I say, whether I'm scaring people off by grouping them all together into plans and challenges and stuff. But yeah, anyway, sorry. So that was an intense workout. I think we'll all agree. Even with me backing off, so I was able to talk to you through that last one. Certainly that was an intense workout. And actually, listen, I didn't really make the excuse about the hard ride yesterday. Yes, it was starting to burn, and yes, maybe, and again, that last interval, then my legs were kind of starting to give away a little bit because of how they got used yesterday, but it wasn't like week one when I was constantly just going, oh, it's because of Zwift, So yeah. Good news is that the Zwift Racing League is finished for the year, so the last, I got 2 more of these, what are we on, 17? Do I have 2 more? I can't remember. Anyway, the rest of them, I'm not going to have Zwift in my legs to complain about, so that's good. Yeah, so there we go. That we're all done. How do we hashtag today's? Oh, I don't know actually. Let's use hashtag great standalone, because that'll confuse people. Because they'll be like, what? What's a great standalone or a great standalone? Anyway, which reminds me of a joke. Doesn't work over this format that well, but I might have kind of put text up. I might put text up. But Batman comes home from one of his crime fighting challenges and says, leaves a note for Alfred that says, Alfred, going into the bathtub. Okay, this is why it doesn't work. Going into the bathtub, and Alfred looks at it and thinks, what is a bat-tub? Get it? No? All right. Anyway, so thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, again, answer in the postcard if you got that joke. Thank you very much for doing this session with me. I certainly wouldn't have done this session today if it wasn't for making these videos for you. So thank you so much for watching these and keeping me honest. Because yeah, I think after yesterday's ride, I probably would have gone, I need a rest day. Whereas actually, I think that proved that I didn't really. However, tomorrow is going to be back down to a bottom tier, nice regenerative recovery row to try and just let your bowl of power fill back up, ready for the day after, which will then be back to a mid-tier row. Okay, so thank you so much for being part of these and helping me out. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I got said everything. Remember, there's a live row Sunday mornings, 9 o'clock UK time on Ergzone. And also remember that I have set up a Just Giving page for Movember for if you're doing these, because the whole Movember thing and Rowember thing is meant to support the Movember charity. So I have set it up. You don't have to donate, don't worry, it's just there because I thought, you know what, it's a bit rude of me to do this and not actually support the charity that's kind of, it's hanging off. So yeah, the link is in, well, I'll post it in the description to this video if you want to. But yeah, it's absolutely no pressure at all to donate. It's just there if you want it. So thank you so much. Please look after yourselves, stay safe, be well. Bye-bye.